Okay, 8th grade, welcome to the second part of lessons 1-6. So we talked about the two first properties, the product of powers and the power of products. Hopefully you feel comfortable with those as we have reviewed them already. So we're going to learn two new properties today. The first one being the power of a power. So it says write an equivalent expression for 5 squared to the 4th power. So it's called the power to a power because there are two powers next to each other. Two powers, meaning two exponents next to each other. When that happens, when they are directly next to each other, you are going to multiply them. But just like last lesson when I showed you the long way, I'm going to show you that first because that proves to you why it works. 5 squared to the 4th power means we're going to write 5 squared 4 times, which is why we have it here. 5 squared times 5 squared times 5 squared times 5 squared. Well, here we go with the same base. We have the same base of 5, so we keep the base of 5, and we add the exponents, so 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 gives us 8. But shortcut, if you just see the 2 and the 4 here, we could do 2 times 4, keep the base, 2 times 4 equals 8. That is the power of powers property. So since there's no try it, I'm going to write one in. I expect you to write it as well. If we have 2 to the 3rd power raised to the 6th power, we keep our base of 2. And what are we supposed to do with our exponents? Multiply them. 3 times 6 gives me 18. So that's the power of a powers property. Example number 4, divide exponential expressions with the same base. So before we talked about multiplying when we have the same base. Now we divide when we have the same base. When we multiplied with the same base, what did we do with the exponents? We added them. So when we divide with the same base, we're going to do the opposite. So when we divide with the same base, you subtract the exponents. Yikes, subtract. You know, Miss Trustinger isn't good at spelling. So here we have 6 to the 5th divided by 6 to the 3rd. Our base is 6. It stays the same. In our answer, the base is going to be 6. So 6 to the 5th is 6 5 times. 6 times 6 times 6 times 6 times 6. And then we're dividing by 6 to the 3rd power, which is 6 times 6 times 6. We can group these together and cancel them out. One from the top, one from the bottom, one from the top, one from the bottom, one from the top, one from the bottom. And then we're left with 2 6s on the top, which is 6 times 6 or 6 squared. The shortcut being we keep 6 as our base and we subtract 5 minus 3, which gives us 2. That will give you the same answer. So there's the long way and the short way. The long way proves to you why the short way works, which is also called the quotient of powers property. Remember, quotient means divides. So the quotient of powers property states that when dividing two exponential expressions with the same base, you have to subtract the exponents. Flip to the next page. We're going to look at the key concept. We looked at the, We're going to do the try it first. I want you to try these 4 on your own, and then I'll ask for people to participate and answer so we can get some kickboard points. All right, let's check your answers. 7 to the 3rd squared. Well, we have power to a power. 2 powers next to each other. So what do we do with the 3 and the 2? Multiply them. So that means you keep the 7. 3 times 2 is 6. And we're done. Another power to a power where the 2 exponents are next to each other. We keep the base of 4. What do we do with the exponents? multiply. 5 times 3 is 15. Now a little review of last lesson. 9 to the 4th times 8 to the 4th. What is the same here, the bases or the exponents? The exponents, so we know we're going to keep the exponent the same. So I don't know what my base is yet, but I know my exponent's going to be 4. What are you supposed to do with the bases? Multiply. So 9 times 8 gives us 72, and there's our answer. 72 raised to the 4th power. Last but not least, 8 to the 9th divided by 8 to the 3rd. What's the same here, bases or exponents? The base is the same. The base is 8. That means we're going to keep the base of 8 in our answer. But when we're dividing, what are we supposed to do with the exponents? We have to subtract them. 9 minus 3. So that's going to give us 8 raised to the 6th power. So think about it. When you're multiplying with the same base, you add the exponents. When you're dividing with the same base, you subtract the exponents. Now we're going to talk about the key concept. So, power of a power, you multiply the exponent. You keep the base the same. See how it's a here and a here? Quotient. Quotient means divide. Quotient of powers property. Keep the base the same. The base is still a. But since we've got an m and an n, we have to subtract them. So when you multiply, you add the exponents. When you divide, you subtract. So let's try number 6 and 7 on our own. Sorry, 6 and 8. Try 6 and 8 on your own. Once you finish, show it to one of us, and we will give you your exit quiz. Once you finish your exit quiz, if there is still time remaining, you may work on your homework. Have a great day.